Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you had a great one, and welcome into Weather Center Live. It is Friday, January 1st, 2016. I'm Jen Carfagno.
Heck yeah, you are. And I'm Reynolds Wolf. 2016 ushers in some colder temperatures, but, you know, we really still can't escape the rainfall for parts of the country.
Oh, it has been nonstop for some of you, including New Orleans. The interesting story with those turtles, and it's connected to the weather in Florida. We just haven't gotten the cold air down into the peninsula. It has gotten colder up there in the Gulf, and the water temperatures have dropped accordingly. But let's take a look outside again with fog this morning. Whether you're in Tampa or whether you're in Orlando or points in between, very foggy. Tampa, though, we're playing the Tennessee and Northwestern playing in the Outback Bowl. Temperature about 70 degrees. Dew point about 70 degrees. It's kind of sticky out there. You know, chances are players from both schools enjoying this weather. It's much warmer than where they're coming from, but still, this is not what you were expecting, right? We are going to get a front through Florida, I promise you, but it's going to take a couple of days. We're going to get this front to move on through. It will bring showers, though, with it, and with that, we're going to see the chance for some rain out there from Tampa to Orlando today, but still very, very mild, very warm mornings as well. I know they're there. Somewhere. You were too, looking out the window yesterday. You're like, I think I see something.
A little bit. Yeah. We might see a bit more where that came from today, because the lake machine is going to be on today. Easy for me to say, especially the Tug Hill Plateaus, and a bit closer to where you happen to be from Erie to Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo this morning getting a little bit of light snow. This might be sort of our best chance of the day to get a decent snow band. Watch these winds coming out of the west. You know, Buffalo does best when it's like a southwest wind, if you like the snow and want to get the snow. But the winds are going to change just a little bit today.
A little bit of a fluctuation.
Northwest.
You know, your drive is going to change too. If you're making the drive, say, from Buffalo down towards Erie, you may be running into just a wall of white, the moisture coming through, the frozen precip also being experienced over in Watertown. Tug Hill Plateau may get it quite a bit, maybe even northern Michigan for that matter.
All right, and you know, you look at our model by tomorrow morning, looks like, again, Buffalo a chance. Once those winds come out of the southwest, that snow band can shift up into Buffalo. Watertown, it'll shift a little closer to you as well, because a lot of times it's just south of Watertown. Again, it all depends on the wind direction. So key and critical.
Yeah, and so does elevation sometimes. Hence the plateau, and you could see maybe several feet of snowfall before all is said and done. 90 could be a mess, and especially along parts of 90 between Buffalo and Erie. 390 not too pretty also in terms of the snow.
But you know, when it comes to record keeping, this is going to fall in the 2016 books. So I mean, 2015 December, whew, not a good year for lake effect snow.
Very true about that. Hey, let's send it over to Anna Redis.
Hey guys, let's talk about good Friday morning, just about 20 minutes past the hour. This is the time of the morning here on the Weather Channel, where we tell you what your travel conditions are like. Happy New Year, Reynolds.
Happy New Year to you, and Happy New Year to you tuning in. You know, a lot of people are going to be trying to travel around to visit people for the holidays, and we have some rain and some slick roads out there, unfortunately.
So we're checking in live with New Orleans. I-10 already noticed a couple of accidents, so you do want to be aware that there are wet roads and a number of people out on them. We even noticed them on our way in here in Atlanta. It's still pretty busy. People are still, you know, coming back from the diner or the after party spot or Reynolds' house.
Something like that. Yeah, and I'll tell you today, a lot of people are going to be converging around the Superdome today. Right now, you've got a lot of green, a lot of yellow, but there's going to be a lot of yellow. The Iowa Hawkeyes are going to be playing the Ole Miss Rebs, and today, let me tell you, the fight's going to be one with the raindrops, as you mentioned, from places like New Orleans down to Grand Isle and as far north as Hattiesburg.
So if you're heading 10 into Biloxi or maybe 55 out down to Texas, you're timing it out, Reynolds. When is this all going to be out of here?
Absolutely. If we go if we continue on with these maps, what I can tell you is that for much of the Gulf Coast, we can expect these scattered showers to be kind of an on and off proposition all the way down to South Texas. Rain can be expected even into North Florida in the I-10 corridor, Jen.
All right, so let's talk more about what's been happening, though, from the Midwest to the South with the rain and the flooding. We go up to the swollen Mississippi. The river continues.
It is just nuts. And to give you a better perspective of what we've been seeing there in terms of the flooding, I mean, you take a look at some of these sheer numbers. I mean, the crest is, what, 42.58 feet. The flow with 904,000 cubic feet per second.
I think that would make it third, by the way.
Wow.
Right, crest. So that's 6.7 million gallons every second. That would fill up. You know, think about your milk jug, right, that you're about to pour out of this morning. 6.7 million of them filled up every single second.
Yeah, the Show Me State being shown some serious water that's moving through there. That's one comparison with the jugs, but then we take a look at the soda cans, and let's see, could fill up 70 million soda cans on every second. I
mean, how much is 70 million? I tried to look at population. I mean, New York City, Philly, D.C. combined doesn't have that many people. You'd have to basically put the soda cans down all the way from St. Louis to Moscow, and that would add up to 70 million.
Wow, all the way from the Volga River in Moscow all the way to the Missouri and Mississippi River in St. Louis. That's a lot of cans, no doubt about it. And in terms of weight for aircraft, look at this. That weighs as much as 60 fully loaded 747 aircrafts every second. Every second.
I mean, this is tremendous. And what also brings it all home is that the amount of time it took to read through this and think about it, this time would have filled up Busch Stadium with water. That much water would have come through and filled up from top to bottom. That's unbelievable.
If you have
this keeps happening.
It's unbelievable. And folks, if you have a moment over the holiday season, think good thoughts about these people who call this area home. You've got a lot of people, a lot of families that power right now. They're trying to get to higher ground. Certainly terrifying. And what's even more scary when you think about this, Jen, is that we haven't hit the worst of it. It's still expected to rise a bit more.
And then we'll see it stay up at major flood stage for the weekend. Even once we've crested, it's going to take some time to start coming down. Now, some of the smaller rivers, and I won't say it's small relative to the Mississippi, like the Merrimack, we are starting to come down already.
Absolutely.
But for the Mississippi at St. Louis, so where we are looking at a 42.5 crest, that's the forecast, that would put us at number 3 on the list. You know, we're up there, right, in the same gauge as 1993 and 1973. Some big flood events in St. Louis history. My goodness. Then once finally, when the floodwaters are going to recede, the cleanup will begin, and it's going to be a tall order for millions of people in this area from Louisville, or rather from St. Louis down to Fort Smith, even into Little Rock. It's all going to be an issue for so many people. You know, so far it's been a holiday. You know, kids are out of school, but kids expected to go back to school next week, so we'll have to see how this plays out to affect them. Oh, what a mess.
What brought it home for me, guys, was the 747 comparison. To think when you hear of emergency response
lately. All right, Anna Rittis, we'll go over to you for more on what's happening this morning.
You know what they'd call that in Boston, that December? A scorcha.
A scorcha. I love it.
All right, let's talk about your coast-to-coast weather stories. This half hour, we